Morning. It's May 6th, and we're going to go ahead and try to get these giant Marconi Peppers, you can see that, planted. These were peppers we grew several years back and saved the seeds out of our tallest plant. We've got videos on the channel. I believe it was a little over 7 foot tall, and it just yielded tons of peppers. So what I've done last week is I went ahead and pinched the tops out of these pepper plants. Let me see if I can get you a close-up on that. I pinch the tops out of them every time I grow these guys because I've grown them for many years and they grow above my cages. And with these heavy peppers on there and the high winds we get off of this parking lot, it just snaps our pepper stalks off. So I go ahead and I pinch the tops out, and you can see the lateral branching coming out at each little node here. It's picking it up. And hopefully they will stay a little shorter and stockier plant. Now we did the same thing to the plants that grew 7 foot tall, so it's anybody's guess at this point. So I'll just show you. Maybe we can get this cup off without having to tear the cup up. We're a week ahead of Mother's Day, but you can see these plants are root bound and they need to be planted. So we're going to get them in the ground today. And what I have here behind this plant, these are all the amendments we use. Composted manure, tomato and vegetable fertilizer, bone meal, a little bit of rabbit manure, some lime, and some pelletized gypsum. Now in the fall last year, late in the fall, I went ahead and in this area right here, where we're going to plant all these up against the house, I amended the soil real heavy because we've never grown anything here other than blackberries, and we took those out. They just weren't producing like the row against the fence line over here. So we took them out, and this will be our first year planting here. The soil hasn't been amended like in the other areas that we planted these guys. So in the fall, went ahead and put all this stuff in there, a couple tablespoons of each in there, and tilled it all in real good with my little garden spade there. And there's 4 spots that are open with the sticks, and then there's just our lawn clippings. You can see our lawn. It's nothing fancy. It's got clover and dandelions and chickweed, and we don't fertilize, and we don't use pesticides or Scott's lawn treatment. We have started that on the front, but we grow everything in our back, so we don't put that stuff on our grass. And then when I cut it, I bag it up and I lay it around there as a thick mulch. It's probably about 4 inches thick up against the house. I try to stay away from mulching in up against my house. We don't want any termite problems, so we do use the composted mulch for our planting areas, but we till it in the soil with our just hand. We don't have any mechanized machinery here. We just all do it by hand. We don't actually, the only place it's heavily mulched is right there around our blackberries, and let's see, around our blueberries. So we'll go ahead and get to this. Now, like I say, we did this in the fall, and early in the spring I did come back. I didn't have the rabbit manure then, so I did come back in here and add some rabbit manure early in the season. The only thing I'm going to add to these planting holes today when I put these plants in the ground is probably a little bit more of the gypsum, and that's going to give it some calcium in the soil to help with some blossom end rot. Hopefully we won't have any issues there. So we'll go ahead and start right here where the first stick is. And I'm just going to sprinkle in there, maybe just, you can see that right there, a tablespoon. And you can see, let me get you a picture up close, how nice and dark and rich this soil is. Like I say, we've planted blackberries here for many years, and we went ahead and took those guys out. And we've got our tomatoes and our potatoes over there on the other side where we usually plant our Marconis. So we're just going to try a different spot this year, and if we get something, we get something, and if we don't, well, that's part of it, I guess. Maybe I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We don't want to put that any deeper than what it is. So now I'll add a little bit more gypsum in the hole. Stir that in really well. Get out of the way so you can see. This barbecue skewer out of the way. And we've got some tomato cages we're going to put up here. So there we go. It's not any deeper than it was. I may just go ahead and, that's pretty sturdy. I thought I may have to add that skewer in there. I put the skewers in the cups because when I set it out back to acclimate them outside, we get high winds out here, and that helps to keep our plants from snapping off. So there's one. If you're new to the channel and you like growing these giant Marconis, you should check out some of our previous videos from last year and the year prior. I think our best year was over there with our 7-foot plant. We had 12 plants, and we yielded, I don't know, 200-300 peppers that year. We was giving them away as fast as we could pick them. We dehydrated them, we canned them, we froze them. So I don't expect that to happen this year, being in a new planting spot, but we'll see. Lord willing, we get a few peppers out of here, we'll be happy. Because that was 2 years ago on that video, our great harvest video. Last year we planted them over here on the other side of the house, and we had a tornado 5 miles south of us that brought some terrible hail storms, and it just destroyed all of our tomato plants and all of our pepper plants. So we didn't get any last year. So these plants come from the seeds of the largest pepper on the largest plant 2 years ago, from 2 years ago. Gonna help me? I'll find that skewer later. Let's see what we got there. Maybe we'll go ahead and readjust this little tripod deal here. Really nice. One other thing I did add last year in the fall was a little bit of Epsom salt, because your peppers like a little bit of magnesium, so your Epsom salts, that's basically magnesium sulfate. So we didn't add much, maybe a teaspoon. Rather underdo than overdo, because we can go back and add. So let's get some of that. They say just about a tablespoon. Stir it in there really nice. Just getting to the bottom of the cups. Now when you're planting your pepper plants, you don't want to go any deeper than what the plants were in the cups. I planted the rest of our tomatoes this morning, and we was able to bury them a couple of inches deep because they were kind of tall and leggy on us. So, but you don't want to do that with peppers. Let's see what we get here. Ishmael, here. Are you gonna lay down there? He likes to help out or hang around while we're doing it. You're a good baby. You're a good boy. Got you a little dirty, but you'll be all right. We'll give you a bath. Now, if I start seeing some deficiencies, I can go back with these organic fertilizers and sprinkle some around the top, basically top dress the plants. I don't think I'm going to have to add any more right now, but we'll see. If we start seeing some yellowing issues, then we may have to. See, they're just getting to the bottom. And then our last one. Let's see if I can get it. We're going to go ahead and put it in our. We're going to go ahead and put it in this little tote. This soil has been amended the same way. There's holes in the bottom of this. So it can, if it does get root bound, it can grow down in the, you can see this is mostly potting mix though. A little different from that, so we'll see which does better. So we'll add a little more gypsum. Alright. I don't think I'll need a cage for this one. I'll just use a few of them barbecue skewers, and once it gets tall enough, I'll pin it to this little trellis. So there we go. Let me pause this. I'm going to try to pause this so I can get this out of here, and then we'll get you a good close-up. If it kicks off, well, thanks for watching. Alright. There's one in the tote. There's one of our Elsa Craigs. I didn't have room for the box, so I just put it in a pot. And you can see them in the ground. Now the only thing left to do is get the tomato cages on these guys and get them watered in. Little shot of that. And that's how we do our giant Marconis. Like I say, first year planting them here, so we're not expecting the results we got from other spots that we planted. But if we get anything, Lord willing, if he blesses us with the harvest off of these, we'll be happy. So we appreciate all you guys watching our videos, giving us a thumbs up and commenting. And we'll keep you updated and posted with some updated videos on these guys. Thanks for watching.